My son's shocking demand, change or you're out. I sold the house at midnight. The clock struck 12, and the air felt electric, like something ominous was brewing in the shadows. Jack was pacing the living room, the wooden floor creaking beneath his worn-out sneakers, each sound echoing like a heartbeat of impending doom. His son, Lucas, a wiry 10-year-old with eyes that seemed to see right through him, stood defiantly at the doorway. The moonlight streamed in, illuminating his face like a spotlight on a stage, casting a severe silhouette. Change or you're out, Dad. The words sliced through the tense silence, piercing Jack's heart like a blade. The weight of those words settled over him like a thick fog, suffocating and eerie, leaving him breathless. Lucas had always been odd, but tonight felt different, as if the air around him shimmered with unspoken secrets. The house had once echoed with laughter and the smell of fresh cookies. Now it was a prison of memories. Pictures hung crookedly on the walls, shadows danced, and the night buzzed, a chorus of unsettling noises, wind howling, branches scratching against the windows, whispering tales of regret. Jack felt a tightness in his chest, a lump forming in his throat. What happened to the sweet boy he used to know? Then came the strange knocking. It was as if the very walls knew something about the demands being made, a frantic rhythm that synchronized with Jack's racing heart. "What did you do, Lucas?" he dared to ask, fear clinging to his voice like sweat on his brow. But Lucas didn't answer, he merely tilted his head, a calculation glinting in his otherwise innocent eyes. Jack felt chills dance down his spine. Could his son really possess the power to kick him out of his own life? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Jack turned to the window, desperate for a moment to breathe, when he caught a glimpse of movement outside, a shadow shifting just beyond the porch light, dark and indistinct. He felt his heart race again. Was there something or someone out there? Lucas jolted him back to reality. "You don't get it, do you?" he said, voice low and serious. "Things have to change. Or we." A tremor ran through Jack as he faced his son again, that eerie intensity still dancing in Lucas's gaze. Change. The weight of this single word loomed larger than the night sky above them. What did it mean? What was at stake? Jack's thoughts spiraled. Could he really pull this off? But before he could answer his own question, Lucas took a step forward. "Trust me," he said, in a tone that sent shivers down Jack's spine. The room felt colder, the shadows drawing in tighter like a noose. Just then, the wind howled again, carrying whispers of secrets long buried, secrets that were about to unravel in a way Jack never anticipated. As he faced his son, the fog of doubt and fear thickened, dread curling through him like someone laying claim to the edges of his sanity. How far was he willing to go to save his family? And what dark truths lurked behind Lucas's shocking demand? The silence stretched like a taut wire, ready to snap. Jack's pulse quickened, every heartbeat resonating like thunder in his ears. He swallowed hard, feeling the dryness in his throat, a stark contrast to the mounting terror swirling around him. "You have to tell me what you mean, Lucas." His voice wavered, the plea escaping with a tremor he could not control. Lucas stepped closer, the moonlight sharpening the contours of his face into a mask of determination and something darker. "You don't understand, Dad. The world isn't what you think. People can't see it, but I can. We have to change now." His words fell like bricks, heavy and unforgiving. Jack felt the walls closing in, each heartbeat echoing louder as confusion clouded his mind. "What are you talking about?" Jack gasped, trying to maintain a grip on sanity in a room that felt like it was spiraling out of control. Lucas's eyes darkened, shimmering like windows into a storm. "You brought this home. We need to get rid of the old to let the new in. It's not just about us. They're coming. His voice was a whisper now, laced with urgency. They know you're not ready. Jack reeled from the frantic delivery, grasping at the threads of his son's cryptic speech. Images of the last few years flooded his mind, moments of neglect, silence filling the space where laughter once thrived. What have I done? He muttered to himself, feeling the weight of denial crush him. Lucas. A voice from the shadows emerged. It was sharp, echoing in the stillness like a siren's call. Jack turned, his heart in his throat, as a figure stepped into view, tall and shadowy, standing almost as if woven from the darkness itself. Jack's instincts flared, propelling him between his son and the unknown presence. Stay back, he demanded, every part of him screaming for protection. Who are you? But the figure merely smiled, an unsettling grin that didn't reach their eyes. I'm here to collect. You know the terms. Collect? Jack echoed, feeling a cold sweat drench his back. The air thickened with unspoken threats, the reality of the night shifting underfoot. Yes, the price of denial is steep. You need to listen to your son. Change is coming, whether you want it or not. Are you really ready for that? The words fell like chilling pebbles into Jack's mind. Why are you doing this? Jack's voice shook. What do you want from me? Haven't you figured it out yet? The figure stepped closer, their face cloaked in shadows. Your son's demand is not just a request, it's a lifeline. The world outside your door is teetering, and only you can choose to save it or let it all unravel. There was something unsettlingly familiar about the figure, but before Jack could piece it together, Lucas tugged at his sleeve. Dad, we have to go. Now. There wasn't a hint of innocence in his tone, just raw urgency, a plea that twisted Jack's gut. The knocking escalated suddenly, a frantic hammering at the front door that shattered the tension, scattering it like autumn leaves in a storm. Jack's heart raced, and he felt a primal instinct demanding action. What's happening? Lucas's eyes pulled with fear, pleading with Jack to act. They're here. If you don't change, we can't stay. Time warped, seconds stretched into tortured minutes. What choice remained? Did he have the strength to tear away the old, to leap into the unknown? As the knocking transformed into a cacophony, Jack's world swayed dangerously. Would he heed Lucas's command? The shadows loomed closer, their whispers fusing risk with darkness. And in that pregnant pause, he realized, the moment of decision had arrived. What awaited them beyond the threshold, and would Jack dare to follow his son into the depths of darkness? Jack's heart thundered, drowning out the frantic pounding at the door. The figure stood quietly, their presence an icy reminder of what lurked beyond. He had to make a choice, right here, right now. Lucas, we can't just leave. I don't even know who that is. Jack breathed heavily, glancing back at the door like it might shatter open any second. Lucas gripped his father's arm. It doesn't matter. The past is behind us. We need to take a leap, or we'll be lost. The strength in his son's voice drowned out the chaos for a brief moment. Jack felt a flicker of something, not just fear now, but a rising flame of resolve. What had brought them to this dire moment? The years of neglect, the regrets, the buried conversations, all leading to this moment. But what if Lucas was right? What if something truly terrible awaited them if they remained? The knocking persisted, a frantic rhythm that matched Jack's racing pulse. The shadows in the room pressed against him, drawing closer, urging him. Lucas's eyes were wide, filled with a desperate clarity that Jack had never seen before. Suddenly, the door splintered. A crack appeared, sending splinters flying as if a demon from hell sought entry. Jack's breath caught in his throat, but a wave of protective instinct surged through him. He had to shield his son. But how could he do that against the unknown force that rattled their very sanctuary? Listen! Lucas shouted over the noise, raising his voice higher. We have to leave. Now. The urgency in his son's plea broke through the haze, like a beacon. Jack turned to the figure, choking on his words. What do you want from us? Why are you doing this? Every choice has consequences, the figure replied, their tone low and menacing. And what's beyond that door will not wait for you to decide. The splintered wood shuddered, echoing the pounding noise of Jack's heart. He studied the dark figure, the shadows wrapping around them like a cloak. There was a recognition there's something buried, a familiarity that sent a chill down his spine. Are you really my son's savior, or your own? Jack found himself asking, laced with doubt. The figure remained silent, their ominous grin widening, as if feasting on Jack's turmoil. The door buckled, slamming against the wall, and chaos erupted. Shadows surged into the room, swirling with a life of their own. Jack instinctively grabbed Lucas, pulling him close. We have to move, he shouted, dragging his son toward the back door. The world outside blurred between reality and nightmare. Lucas trembled at Jack's side, the weight of what they were leaving behind heavy on both their shoulders. We can't go back, Dad. Lucas cried desperately, his grip tightening. Not now, not ever. They raced into the night, the cool air like a balm against the heat of their panic. Jack's mind spun with questions. What had followed them? What had they left? But there was no time to process. They had stepped into a different realm, one that lurked at the edges of their understanding. As they dashed through the back alley, Jack risked a glance over his shoulder, bracing himself for what they had fled. But instead of horror, he saw a strange calm enveloping their home, the moonlight creeping in like a silent guardian. We need to make a choice, Lucas said between ragged breaths, his voice steady despite the chaos. Are you ready to do what it takes? There's no going back now, not ever. Ahead of them lay the outline of the darkened neighborhood, resting under a shroud of mystery. Shadows clung to the corners of the street, whispering untold secrets. What had they unwittingly stepped into? Jack swallowed, his heart pounding with uncertainty, as he steeled himself to confront whatever lay ahead. Would they emerge unscathed in this new reality, or had they summoned something they could never escape? Jack turned to Lucas, feeling the weight of their choices. What's next? He asked, knowing the answer could change everything, and as they ventured further, the air thickened with anticipation of storms yet to come. The alley twisted like a serpent, shadows clawing at their heels. Jack's breath came in sharp gasps as he urged Lucas forward. Panic bubbled inside him, a raw, throbbing pulse that matched the dark dread tightening his chest. The world beyond their home loomed ahead, each corner draped in mystery, cloaked in an eerie twilight. What if it's worse out here? Jack's voice faltered, fear whispered in every word. Anything is better than what was inside. Lucas shot back, his intensity cutting through Jack's doubts. The boy's eyes gleamed with fear but also a fierce determination that reminded Jack too much of himself from years ago. They stumbled into the street, where the moon cast an otherworldly glow. It felt like stepping onto another planet. The normal sounds of their neighborhood were silenced, replaced by the soft rustling of leaves and the distant cry of something unidentifiable. Jack could feel the unsettling nature of the stillness pressing against him, a force urging them to move. Suddenly, a noise from behind them shattered the calm, a low, otherworldly growl that rumbled through the air. Jack spun around, the hairs on the back of his neck prickling. Shadows flickered like a living tapestry, bending and twisting without a source. Go! Jack yelled, adrenaline flooding his veins. They sprinted down the street, the asphalt cold underfoot. The sensation of being pursued clawed at him. He could almost sense something lurking just beyond the veil of darkness, waiting to pounce. In a matter of moments, they crashed onto the main road, where dim street lamps flickered weakly, casting long shadows that danced ominously in the wind. They ran past abandoned cars, broken glass crunching underfoot as if the earth itself groaned with pain. Where do we go, Dad? Lucas yelled, panic rising in his voice. I don't know. Just keep moving. Jack shouted back, his resolve clashing with the overwhelming terror tightening around their throats. They stumbled upon a gas station, its light a beacon of false hope. Jack's instincts drove him toward it, a flicker of normalcy amid the chaos. He pushed through the door, the bell chiming in protest of their entrance. Inside, the fluorescent lights hummed dully. The shelves stood empty, and the air smelled stale. There was no one behind the counter. Jack felt a creeping sense of unnatural dread wash over him, something was wrong, deeply wrong. Is it safe? Lucas whispered, glancing around like a hunted animal. I don't know, we need to catch our breath. Jack panted, but just as he spoke, a shrill noise erupted outside. It was the sound of metal scraping against metal, rhythmic and menacing. Jack's heart raced as he turned to the window. A figure shrouded in shadow stood just beyond the glass. They seemed to meld with the darkness around them, radiating an unsettling energy. Jack strained to see more, but the angle played tricks on his eyes. What do they want? Lucas asked, his voice barely a whisper as his grip tightened around Jack's arm. The figure moved closer, revealing a face obscured by a hood. Jack's heart sank. It looked eerily familiar, yet utterly alien. It was a face from his past, twisted by fear and anger. Recognition hit him like a punch to the gut. Dad? Lucas's voice wavered, catching the shift in his father's expression. Jack stumbled back, uncertainty clawing at him. This can't be happening. Then the figure raised a hand, and Jack felt a pulse of energy ripple through the air. An overwhelming compulsion twisted around him and his son, a desperate pull that felt like it was dragging them into the depths of a cold abyss. Lucas, run! Jack yelled, instinctively shoving his son back toward the door. But it was too late. A chilling voice broke the silence, scratching against the edges of reality. Your time has come, Jack. Make your choice. Jack's stomach twisted as he felt the ground shift beneath him. The world was closing in, a storm of choices and consequences, the anguish of the past colliding with the imminent truth of the now. Jack turned to his son, determination burning in his chest. What do we do? As they braced against the unseen force gathering around them, Jack knew this was just the beginning, and an uncertain path lay ahead. A final question echoed around them, rising like smoke from the embers of their fiery fear. What are you willing to sacrifice to survive? They had to find out. And time was running out. The whisper of the figure outside grew louder, a low rumble that vibrated through the air of the dim gas station. The metallic creak of the door echoed, breaking the silence like a gunshot. Jack felt his heart spasm in his chest. Who are you? Jack demanded, a desperation rising in his voice. The figure stepped into the light, and Jack's breath hitched. It was not just familiar, it was wrong. This wasn't just a face from his past, it was a warped version, a shadow of a life he thought he left behind. Do you really not remember? The figure crooned, voice dripping with disdain. Jack felt a cold sweat trickle down his spine. Something about the tone sent chills through him, twisting memories into nightmares. He took a step back, pulling Lucas behind him. The kid was quivering, eyes wide, and Jack fought against the urge to cover his son's ears, shield him from this horror. What do you want? Lucas whined, clinging to Jack's side, unyielding fear gripping his small frame. I want what you owe me, the figure replied insidiously, tilting its head. Such debts have a way of surfacing when you least expect them. Jack's mind raced. The memories flashed: bad decisions, lost friendships, debts he thought time had buried. Dread seeped into his bones, guilt wrapped around him like chains. Leave us alone! Jack shouted, but his voice lacked conviction, echoing into the hollow space around them. The figure's mouth curled into a smile that reeked of malice. There's a price to pay, Jack. A choice you must make. If you fail, well, it raised its hand, a shimmer of energy crackling in the air as shadows thickened, looming over them like a storm cloud. Your son will take your place. Would you like that? Jack's throat went dry as he struggled to breathe. Lucas jerked in panic, his small body tensing. I don't want to. Then you have to act. The figure hissed, advancing. Sacrifice what is most precious, or he will pay for your mistakes. Jack felt the weight of that choice hanging between them, heavy and suffocating. What does that even mean? He shouted, desperation cracking his voice. What do you want? It's simple, it said, its voice dripping like poison. Make a sacrifice, Jack. Is it your own safety, a secret? Or perhaps a lie you clung to? Choose how much you are willing to give. This twisted form, haunting him in the night with a demand he felt too weary to confront. Jack's mind spun in chaos. Who was he in this moment? A father? A coward? The line blurred, reality slipping through his fingers like sand. Just tell me what it is. Jack shouted, fists clenched, ready to fight. But the figure just laughed, the sound chilling, tormenting him with his indecision. Only you can answer that, it taunted, stepping back. The shadows danced behind it like restless spirits, eager for a chance to consume. Tick-tock, Jack. Time waits for no one, and neither will your choices. The air around them crackled ominously. Jack could hear the heartbeat of the universe, chaotic and impatient. He had to seize this moment or lose everything. Lucas, listen to me, Jack said breathlessly, kneeling to meet his son's terrified eyes. Whatever happens, stay strong. We'll find a way. But the figure was still looming, the storm of energy pulsing behind it, drawing forth the chaos of the night. Jack had no idea how this would end or what he truly must sacrifice. A suffocating silence engulfed them as the shadows edged closer. Would he risk everything for his son? Or would they both be swallowed by their past? He had to decide now before it was too late. What could he offer to save them both? Make your choice. It echoed, the weight of worlds pressing down on him. In that second, a moment of clarity hit him like a punch. Time may not wait, but he'd be damned if he didn't fight back. The question burned fiercely in his heart now. What price was he willing to pay? Jack's heart thundered in his chest as the figure loomed, shadows swirling like a cloak of doom around them. The atmosphere was thick with fear, a pressure that squeezed the air from his lungs. Lucas's grip tightened, his small hand trembling against Jack's side. Dad, I'm scared, he whispered, eyes darting to the menacing figure. Jack's mind raced. Choices. Sacrifices. What could he give? The weight of his son's safety hung in the balance, and every second stretched painfully, a countdown ticking away the moments they had left. Why are you doing this? Jack yelled, desperation bleeding into his voice. What do you gain by hurting us? The figure chuckled, a low, sinister sound that sent tremors through Jack's body. Gain? Oh, Jack, you misunderstand. It's not about gain, it's about balance. Every action has a cost. Yours simply happens to be it stepped closer, shadows writhing, your son's innocence. Jack's stomach dropped. No. He felt an animalistic urge to protect his child, to shield him from the darkness that crept like a predator. Behind him, Lucas whimpered, pressing closer. Choose now, Jack. What will you forsake? The figure flexed its fingers, the energy sparking ominously, intensifying the tension in the air. What are you willing to sacrifice to save him? Jack felt a rush of adrenaline, a visceral need to fight. I'll give you anything. Just leave my son alone. His voice cracked, raw and urgent, echoing off the walls of the gas station. The figure tilted its head, considering. Anything? Is that what you believe? Or is that simply what you want to believe? The smile that danced across its lips twisted Jack's gut. It's like children playing in a game they can't possibly understand. Stop it. Lucas cried, his eyes wide with fear. I want to go home. Jack knelt to look at Lucas, drawing strength from the need to protect him. Listen to me, buddy. No matter what, I will fight for you. You hear me? He swallowed against the lump in his throat, feeling the warmth of his resolve in the face of darkness. Time us up, Jack. The shadows are hungry, the figure sneered, the energy crackling louder, almost alive. If you hesitate, you'll lose more than you can imagine. Decide what you truly value. Jack's chest tightened, panic threatening to consume him. Salvation felt just out of reach. As the figure loomed, his mind flashed through memories, mistakes, regrets, sacrifices he hadn't made. The answers taunted him, dancing like flames. He would not lose Lucas. What if I offer myself? Jack blurted, feeling the weight of the words like a stone. Take me instead. The figure paused, amusement flickering in its darkened eyes. Now that's interesting, but life is not so simple, Jack. You think sacrificing yourself will save your son? What are you willing to give up beyond your own life? It leaned closer, the air thickening. Forget sacrifice for a moment. Let us talk about the truths you hide. Jack fought against his pounding heart, sweat gathering on his brow. What truths? I have nothing left. It's always personal, the figure replied, the shadow swirling dangerously. It's about memories, regrets, and truths you want to save, Lucas? Then what will it be? Terror clawed at Jack's throat. He had to make a choice. The weight of the moment pressed down, a chasm of despair before him. He began, heart racing, searching for a way to protect Lucas, but even as he searched, the lights flickered ominously, and a low growl surged through the shadows, tightening around them like a noose. The figure's eyes gleamed with malicious anticipation, and Jack felt the earth shift beneath him. As chaos crackled in the air, a single thought burned fiercely in Jack's mind: he had to find the hidden truth that could turn the tide. What would it take to confront the darkness and save them both? In that crucial instant, a haunting laugh echoed around them, reverberating with insidious possibility. What would he uncover hidden in the depths of his past? Time was running out. Would he unearth the strength to protect his son and himself? The answer was closer than he imagined, but it could unleash a power they might not be ready for. Jack's mind raced, a whirlwind of fear and regret crashing together like stormy waves. He felt the shadows tightening their grip around him, whispering dark promises. What could he uncover about his past that would break this nightmare? Lucas, he said, forcing his voice steady, stay close. No matter what happens, don't move. Dad, I'm scared. Lucas's voice trembled, but there was something in it now, a spark of determination that made Jack proud. The figure shifted, dark energy crackling like lightning between its fingers. Such innocent love, Jack. But love alone won't save you. It leaned closer, and Jack could feel the heat radiating off its twisted form. I have shown you the path, yet you still hesitate. Speak your truth or watch as the shadows consume everything you hold dear. The weight of the moment pressed down on him. Jack could feel Lucas, warm and real, against his side, but the truth was like a thick fog he couldn't penetrate. What was hidden within him? What had he buried so deep he couldn't even remember? Memories collided in a kaleidoscope of emotion: a long-lost friendship, a gift never given, dreams he abandoned. I abandoned everything, Jack shouted suddenly, desperation spilling from his lips. I ran when I should have stood my ground. I let fear dictate my choices. Eyes narrowing, the figure's smile grew wider. Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Tell me, Jack, what specifically did you run from? The shadows pulsed like a heartbeat, hungry for his secrets. Jack clenched his fists, the pressure building inside him, battling the darkness that sought to claim Lucas. He squeezed his eyes shut, searching through the ruins of his past, memories rising like ghosts. Rachel, he whispered. The name slipped from his lips like a prayer. She was his first love, the one he'd left behind for safety, for stale predictability. The guilt crashed over him like a wave, weighing him down. I let her go when she needed me most, and it was my cowardice that cost her everything. Ah, the bitter bite of regret, the figure hissed, reverberating with pleasure. And the cost? You think you can simply voice it to escape? Sacrifice comes at a price. Jack's heart raced, and for a moment, he felt like he was teetering on a precipice, his feet dangling over an abyss. What do you want from me? He cried, raw desperation wavering in his voice. It's simple, Jack. Own your regret. Embrace it. Offer it up willingly. Only then can you hope to save your son and yourself. Jack gasped, the weight of the revelation crashing over him. What if naming his regret wasn't enough? What if he had to relinquish it in a way that echoed through time? He looked at Lucas, the boy who had been in his life since the moment he'd taken his first breath. I can't lose you. Or regain your cowardice, the figure taunted, and in that moment, Jack saw the flicker of darkness in its eyes. Was it gloating, or was it something more? His mind raced. Could he confront his past in a way that would truly alter the path ahead? Maybe giving up Rachel, it wouldn't be enough. I got away without taking real responsibility, without feeling the pain of those choices. A spark ignited deep in Jack's chest. If I have to face the violence of the past, then so be it. The figure grinned, shadows twisting with excitement. Now we're cooking. Tell me what you truly despise about yourself, Jack. Speak it aloud, and it will burn in the revelation. As he prepared to unearth his deepest shames, Jack took a breath. This was more than a fight for his son's life, it was a battle against the coward within. Lifting his chin with newfound strength, he shouted into the shadows, I hate that I backed down when it mattered most. I hate how I've done nothing while others suffered. The shadows converged, their growls rising in a cacophony of sound that wrapped around him. But Jack felt a different energy stir inside him, a flicker of hope igniting in the desperate darkness. At that moment, a soft voice broke through the chaos, Lucas's small hand squeezing Jack's tighter. Dad, just be honest, you can't give up, not now. The ground shook beneath them, blurring the lines between reality and the unknown. What would he have to face to save Lucas? Would uncovering his past provide the power to change the moment they were trapped in? As the shadows howled like a storm, Jack knew the reckoning was just beginning. Secrets long hidden were about to awaken, and whatever lay dormant within him could shift the balance forever, but at what cost? Would he find the strength to confront the shadows of his past, or would he be consumed by them? Jack felt a surge of adrenaline pump through him, stoking the fire of determination within him. As the shadows writhed and screamed around him, he forced himself to focus on the figure before him, its sinister grin a taunt. Face it. You can't hide anymore, its voice boomed, echoing with a haunting intensity that shook the ground beneath their feet. Breath hitching, Jack realized that the process of revealing his darkest secrets was not just a means to an end, it was his only chance at survival. I couldn't protect her, and I failed to protect Lucas. He roared, his voice reverberating against the swirling darkness. I was weak, running scared while Rachel faced the consequences alone. Like a dam bursting, memories flooded back, Rachel's laughter intertwined with tears, the way she looked at him with hope shimmering in her eyes, and the betrayal that kept him awake nights. The shadows flared violently, a guttural growl escaping the figure, seemingly relishing his pain. Keep going, Jack. Do you think I can be bribed with mere words? No. The weight of it all threatened to crush him, but he pushed through. I hate that I walked away when it counted. I was selfish. My fear clouded my judgment and caused others to fall. Each word tore at him, ripping wounds wide open. The shadows momentarily hesitated, and then a piercing scream erupted from the figure, reverberating through Jack's chest. You think confessing will free you? It's merely the prelude to your penance. Lucas, clutching his father's hand, looked up with wide eyes. I wish I could help. I don't want to lose you. His fear mixed with unwavering loyalty struck Jack like a slap. This was bigger than him. Lucas, Jack said, forcing calm into his voice, I will find a way to protect you. Just believe. But he realized that no matter how strong his resolve, the currents of this place threatened to drag him down into the depths of his own failures. The figure advanced, shadows morphing around it into nightmarish shapes that seemed to whisper his sins back to him. What more will you reveal? You harbor more regrets, don't you? It taunted. You've ignored the biggest truth of all. How many times have you turned your back on life, Jack? How many moments have slipped away because you let fear reign? Trembling, Jack could feel the chains of despair binding him, but the love for Lucas anchored him. I wanted to keep you safe. He screamed, and a sudden wave of clarity surged through him. But I see now that running doesn't protect you. I was wrong to think courage was the absence of fear. In that instant, he began to feel the weight of his truth shift. It's the ability to fight through fear. To stand tall in the face of darkness and say, I refuse to let you win. The air crackled with energy, transforming the shadows momentarily into flickering lights dancing around them. Jack felt the tremors of change ripple through the space, a glimpse of liberation warming his heart. But the figure loomed larger, its anger intensifying. You think you've unlocked the door to escape? Not yet, Jack. Not until you pay the cost. It leaned in, close enough that Jack felt the heat of its breath, sickly sweet and rancid. What will you sacrifice? Jack's heart slammed in his chest at the question. What more could he give? He thought of Lucas. It hit him. I will do anything. I'll accept my past, my pain, and even the guilt that has chained me. I want to reclaim my life and my son. As he declared his willingness to confront the full spectrum of his past, shadows swirled violently around him. It was as if the very fabric of the dark realm was tearing apart with the force of his conviction. The figure screeched, the sound grating against Jack's nerves. Then prepare, Jack. The truth may not only sting, it might burn you alive. Something within the ground shook, and Jack braced himself. He could feel the very air around him grow tense. Would confronting his shadows ignite his salvation or unleash a destruction he couldn't control? He locked eyes with Lucas, his resolve hardening. No matter what comes next, we face this. Together. But the darkness was swirling faster now, roaring with hungry anticipation. What awaited them in this terrifying descent? Would they finally find light, or was the darkness about to swallow them whole? The ground shuddered violently beneath Jack's feet, the gnashing shadows whipping around him like a tempest. He gripped Lucas's hand tighter, his pulse pounding like a war drum. Stay close, he shouted, the words almost swallowed by the howling darkness. The figure loomed menacingly, its dark form pulsating with anger. Do you think facing your truth is enough, Jack? The cost is much higher than you realize. It laughed, a sound that echoed like nails on a chalkboard. Jack felt Lucas's small hand tremble in his, and the weight of his son's fear sent a fresh wave of determination surging through him. I won't let you hurt him. Jack roared, his voice slicing through the chaos. Ah, but everything comes with a price, the figure replied, its voice dripping with malice. Your resolve is admirable, but what would you surrender to spare your son? Life? Jack's stomach twisted. The idea settled like tar in his mind. I would give anything to keep Lucas safe, he breathed, fighting the encroaching sensation of dread. The figure's cruel grin stretched wider, its shadowy limbs swirling around Jack and Lucas, pressing in on them like a vice. Anything? Truly? It taunted, and suddenly in a blinding flash, images flooded Jack's mind. Memories raw, unfiltered, full of moments when his choices fractured their lives, the time he chose work over family, that night spent drowning his sorrows in a bottle instead of comforting Rachel. Each memory hit him hard, puncturing the armor he built around his heart. No, stop. Jack shouted, desperation clawing at his throat. These are my mistakes, not his. Don't use them against us. The figure chuckled darkly, swirling around them. But what if I told you that all these moments, that terror, that abandonment could be erased? All you need to do is hand over the one you cherish most. The shadows thinned momentarily, revealing a harrowing choice laid bare before him. Lucas. Jack staggered as nausea washed over him. You can't mean that. I'd never. His voice faltered, realization hitting him like a punch to the gut. You can't take him. No one will ever take him from me again. Haven't you learned? The figure hissed, its mouth stretching wide in an eerie smile. Your fear thrives on secrets, and secrets demand sacrifices. To protect him, you must give him up. Lucas's eyes were wide, confusion battling the dawning comprehension of what his father faced. Dad? What's going on? He asked, voice trembling, water brimming in his eyes. Jack knelt, grounding himself in the warmth of his son. Lucas, listen, no matter what they say. But the ground began to quake, the shadows thrumming with a pulse of their own. You must choose. The figure boomed, the words echoing like thunder. The boy's safety or your own freedom. An electric jolt of terror shot through Jack. In that split second, he realized, fear had driven him away before, but now it fueled a fire of protection so deep it threatened to consume him whole. I refuse to let you dictate our fates. He shouted, heart hammering. A warmth enveloped him, encasing him in the love he felt for Lucas, swelling with every heartbeat. The shadows recoiled, shrieking in rage. For a moment, Jack dared to hope. "What more can you take from me?" he demanded. But the figure's laughter echoed, menacing and promising calamity. "You can't escape, Jack. The final choice is still to come. I will break you." Suddenly, there was a shift in the air, a crackling tension that heralded a new threat. A flash of light broke from somewhere deep within the abyss around them. Jack shielded Lucas, feeling raw power surge like lightning through him. "What is happening?" he shouted, wrestling with the raging shadows, but the light didn't answer. It loomed larger, dispersing the darkness momentarily, illuminating the fear that had plagued Jack for so long. And just as he thought he could finally fight back, the ground beneath them splintered, sending them tumbling into the blinding brilliance. Would they ascend to freedom, or sink deeper into despair? Jack's last thought twisted in his mind as they fell. Was it truly possible to save what meant most without losing it all? The descent seemed endless as the light enveloped them, pulling them deeper into a realm of terrifying possibilities. What awaited them when the light faded? Would it cleanse, or amplify their struggles? As the blinding light faded, Jack found himself standing in a vast emptiness, the ground solid beneath his feet. He instinctively reached for Lucas, but the boy wasn't beside him. Panic surged. "Lucas!" he shouted, spinning around, desperate eyes scanning the void. "Dad?" The soft voice wrapped around Jack like a bomb, grounding him. Lucas appeared, stepping into view from behind a shimmering portal, his small figure glowing with a soft, ethereal light. Relief flooded Jack's chest. He rushed to his son, enveloping him in an embrace that felt like coming home after a long, dark road. "Are you okay?" Jack asked, pulling back to inspect him. Lucas nodded, his eyes wise and bright, devoid of the childish fear they had faced moments before. "I think we broke through, Dad, but something's still here." Jack turned at Lucas' words, and in that moment, the shadows returned, creeping along the edges of their newfound sanctuary, swirling with malevolence. The dark figure from the gas station materialized once again, its grin wider and more twisted. "You think you found safety?" it leered, stepping forward, shadows writhing at its feet. "You're wrong, Jack. You've merely entered a different realm of your choices." The tension crackled between them, and Jack's heart raced, recognizing that their journey wasn't over yet. "I won't let you take my son," Jack shouted, surging forward, conviction driving him. Every ounce of fear he held onto shattered with each step. "I'll stand against you, no matter what." Brave words, the figure mocked, its voice silk and steel. "But bravery alone can't suffice. Not here. You still owe the past its due." Jack felt it all surge back, images of his failures, the loved ones he had left behind, the relationships he had shattered through neglect, memories like jagged rocks crushing underfoot. But this time, they didn't bring the paralysis of fear. They grounded him in a rising tide of purpose. "I've learned something," Jack said, determination fueling his voice. "You don't own me anymore. Living in fear only strengthens you. I refuse to pay with Lucas' life. I will reclaim what's mine." The shadows hissed, coiling tighter around him, but Jack refused to yield. "To protect my son, I'll embrace my mistakes. I will own them. With every regret and every fear, I will name them, not to apologize, but to announce my release from you." He began to speak through the darkness, naming each regret in a voice that grew steadier as he progressed. "I regret leaving Rachel." The figure recoiled. "I regret turning my back." It shrieked when Jack's voice echoed for the umpteenth time. "I regret my silence when I should have spoken." With each confession, the figure's power weakened, shadows unfurling like smoke in sunlight. Jack felt Lucas' warmth as he stood resolutely by his side, drawing strength from the bond of their shared love. "You think this is a game?" the figure hissed, trembling and backpedaling as if struck. "Words alone cannot break the chains binding you." "Oh, but they are more than just words," Jack declared, his chest swelling with newfound belief. "They are flames ignited with truth. They are aspirational declarations. I choose to move forward, not backward. The shadows began to retreat, curling back at Jack's command. Light flickered behind him, illuminating the space with warmth and hope. Jack could feel the walls of darkness shatter, weakness spilling from the figure like water from a burst dam. "What's happening?" Lucas whispered, watching in awe. "We're breaking free," Jack breathed, feeling the rush of relief surge through him. "We're claiming back our lives." The figure glared as the last remnants of its power dissipated into the ether, the shadows evaporating into thin air. "No!" It screamed, its voice a mere echo now, lost to them. "This isn't over." But as the darkness vanished, clarity washed over Jack. "It is over," he replied firmly. "We are free." In an explosion of light, Jack and Lucas were enveloped in a warm embrace of luminosity, spinning away from the dark remnants of their fears now relegated to mere memories. As they emerged back into the familiar world that cradled them, Jack found himself standing in their living room, the dawn streaming through the window pure, beautiful, and full of promise. "Did we really do it?" Lucas asked, his eyes sparkling. "Yes, we did," Jack whispered, kneeling to pull Lucas close again. They were safe. Here, they could rebuild. As the light spilled into the house, illuminating every corner, Jack felt the weight of distance between him and the former specter of fear dissolve. No more shadows to haunt them. There were only endless possibilities. "Together, we'll face whatever comes our way," Jack vowed, and for the first time, he felt true freedom. He reached for the family photos, laughter resounding off the walls, memories yet to be forged amid the din of new beginnings, and so, with a heart full of love and hope, Jack knew, change was not to be feared but embraced. Now, for the wildest story, it was time to live. Don't fade into the shadows. You need to subscribe now to catch more incredible stories like this, because you don't want to miss what's next. Smash that like button now to help the algorithm spread the word. Also, flood the comments with your thoughts and theories about the ending. We love to hear from you. And don't wait even one more second, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support means everything to the channel.